All right, good morning, guys. We are live. Happy Tuesday. Abby Johnson, welcome. That is so exciting to say. You and I have been having conversations for months. We've been talking and game planning, and it's been a big secret. And to be able to say, welcome, Abby Johnson, like I have chills.
I know, I'm excited.
I mean, this woman and I have so much in common, but let me tell you, y'all, these mom buns, we did not plan this.
We did not.
And we look like perfect twins here. We have so much to talk about, and we felt really good. You know, Abby, she had a very important event last week. We were going to start last week, and then I almost postponed this week due to some crazy parenthood stuff we're going to talk about. And we're both like, you know what? No, she and I are the real deal of parenting. And that's what we're going to bring everybody. People need real and raw right now more than ever. So that's what we're going to bring everybody this morning. And so anyone who's feeling crazy and exhausted, we're going to make you feel relatively normal.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I'm in my robe right now. Like, this is me.
But see,
in my robe, because it's so cold in my house. Like, I do have a thing on underneath this, but I'm like freezing. So I was like, I'm just gonna put my robe on.
Does your husband? Mine would love to live in frigid temperatures all year. Does Doug like to keep the house cold?
Well, we both do. Actually, I like to have the house cold, but it's okay. Let me say, it's like really cold outside. So, which is not. I'm in Texas, so we don't do that here.
And now let me say, and it just snowed there.
It legit snowed here. It's 36 degrees outside, and we don't really know what to do with ourselves when it hits like below 50. So we're basically dying over here because it's so like frigid cold for us. That I like my heat is on, but it's just, I'm freezing. Like, I'm just so cold and I can't warm up. I want to be wearing gloves right now.
Well, you know what's so funny? Again, another thing. So Abby and I both live in the South. Abby's in Texas. I'm in North Carolina. I saw her pictures. It was snowing there, which again, 2021's already crazy. It doesn't
legit snow. Not like Texans will have like sleet and everybody's like, oh my God, it's snowing. Okay, no, this was like snow. Like when I go up to Washington, DC, like when I go up to Minnesota, this was like legit snow on the ground.
Well, in North Carolina, I moved here a couple years ago. And everyone said, you need to prepare. Schools in the city will shut down if they call for even 1-2 inches. So I'm like, people are embellishing. Yeah. Last Thursday, we got a winter storm warning of 1 to 2 inches. Okay, people in the north will laugh. 1 to 2 inches of a storm warning. They called off school the day before. We didn't even get the snow. So the kids were off school with no snow, no freezing rain, nothing. They just shut it down. It's so funny.
Yeah, so yesterday the kids had an inclement weather day. Now we actually did have snow, but it would not be enough for anybody in the north to close their school. But here in the South, we don't know how to drive in stuff like that. So it was pretty, I mean, it wasn't funny, but sort of funny. So yesterday, we decided, okay, so Kalahari Resort just built our country's largest indoor water park here where I live.
Nice.
In Austin. And so, they built it in Round Rock. Anyway, and so, which is not far from where I live. So anyway, and so it's this humongous indoor water park and they have this big arcade and stuff like that. So yesterday we were like, oh, it's a snow day. We're going to take the kids to this water park. So we went to Kalahari and so anyway, that's what we did. And so we were there all day yesterday, which was great because I've been like gone so much and So I'm trying to spend as much time with my kids as I can. And then I'm about to be gone a lot. Just it's, March for life season, and then January is like Fancy of Human Life month. So I'm going to be traveling a lot. So I'm trying to just spend as much time with the kids as I can.
Right.
So anyway, so we went there yesterday, and it was great. And everybody was like, "Is it going to be like cold in the water park?" It's not. They make it feel like you're outside.
Right.
Like it felt like hot and humid.
Yeah, those places. Yeah. Yes.
It was awesome. And so we were in the water and we rode the rides. And then later in the day, we went to the arcade thing, and it's really cool. They even have like little roller coasters and stuff that you can ride like inside.
Oh, wow.
And then when we were done, we went back out into the frigid temperature. But I realized how funny it was because I had to miss our staff meeting yesterday. And so I text my COO and CFO, and I said, "Hey, the kids have a snow day today, so we're going to the water park."
Like, wait, what?
So we took advantage of the snow day yesterday.
That's perfect. And, so one of the questions I have for you and Doug, I said this for people who didn't see Abby and I's first interview I had with her, I always feel like when I see other moms or I'm meeting new people, I'm going up in groups. Sometimes people have that shock factor with me. They're like, "Oh, how many kids do you have?" And I'm always like, 5. And people are like, "Oh my God, you've got 5 kids?" Like, like people's just eyes bulge. And so I always feel like, yeah, I've got it. I've got my mom game strong. And then I meet Abby. And she's like, "Well, yeah, I have 8." And it's like, how do you do it?
Yeah.
So when you and Doug prepare to go for an outing like yesterday, how do you like mentally prepare, let alone physically?
I mean, yeah, I think, we, the hardest thing I do every week is go to church with all of my kids. That's by far the most difficult. Like I have to get in a space. Like, okay, yes. Like I wake up, Sunday morning, and I'm like, okay, God,
I've got this.
We're gonna do it, And so, it's not the boys. They're fine, they're 8, 7, 6, 5, so they can sit in church, and we don't go to a church where there's a nursery or children's church. Mm-hmm. We're Catholic, so dang it, the kids are going to sit in church with us. We
sit in the pew. Yes.
So we're all about that Catholic suffering, So, we sit. I just realized my mic is not here. Let me make this better. We, sit in the pew, and so, the hardest thing right now is the twins, who are 3, and then Fulton, of course, who's 18 months. I mean, he's not having it. So
that's AJ, our little boys, same age.
Yeah. And so Fulton wants to run around and do all the things. And Lucy and Maggie have discovered the little candle section at the back, They want me to light all the candles so that they can then go by and blow them all out. So they're okay. The girls are fine for the first half of Mass. They can do it for 30 minutes, but then the last half of Mass, the most important part, the liturgy of the Eucharist, they're done. They're done. That's the hardest thing. So, I feel like though Mass is that's been a good exercise, right? So I'm if I can mentally prepare myself for that every single week, then I can get myself in the game to do anything, I can go to a water park with all my kids. I can go to the grocery store with all my kids by myself, but here's the thing, like the difference between me going to the store versus Doug going to the store is phenomenal. Okay. So like I go to the store by myself with all my kids and people look at me like, lady, you need to keep your legs closed. Okay. Right. Like that's how they look at me. Like,
you know how that happens?
Yeah. Like, don't you know what birth control is? Like, that's how they look at me. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Doug goes to the store by himself with all the kids, and they're like, super dad.
Yes. Oh, look at you. You're so brave. Look at you with all your kids.
Are all of these your kids? And you know what they say? All with the same mom? Okay. Why don't I yes, all with the same mom.
Right. Me. Right.
I push all these little things out. Like, why don't they do that to me? Like, oh my gosh, you did all of this? Like, let me get you a trophy. No, that's not how they act with me. When I go to the store, they're like, they give me these looks like, girl, like, you need to get it together.
Right. And I get it with even 5, and I don't know about you, but and I think this goes 50-50 for parents. There are some parents, if they're grocery shopping, if they're in the store getting whatever, if their kids start to act up, they get them together and they leave. Me, I'm powering through.
Oh no.
Having a meltdown, I just tune it out and do the best I can. And people look at me like, you're ruining my shopping experience. And I'm holding on for every last bit of sanity I have right now. I'm getting my food.
Oh, I know. I'm like, you know what? You're getting in the basket right now. That's what's happening to you. You can throw your shit in the basket among the Cheez-Its and whatever. Like, you can roll around on top of the goldfish. I am not packing up and leaving. And I'm sorry I'm disturbing you, lady, but you can deal with it. Because I am not loading up my kids and coming back to the store just so that you won't be inconvenienced. Okay? Like, no, we're powering through this trip. The only place where I am treated like a hero is Costco.
Ooh, big family shopping. Okay.
Big family shopping. Because everybody there has like a big family.
People get
but I'm the winner. I'm the winner. Nobody has 8 kids.
Right.
So like I walk in and like I feel like I'm the winner of the contest. Like I walk in and people are like, oh yes. Like we're like you win, lady. Like and so that's the only place where I feel like these are my people. You know,
big families. I mean,
like we're all the same people. That's
right.
Yeah.
And people don't look at you crazy. Like for our family of 7, when we have 2 to 3 big carts overloaded that will last us a good 4 days, it's like people just get you there, So I agree.
I love Costco. So that's my happy place.
But yeah, I do agree. I have to agree on the church thing too. My husband, we go every Sunday morning, and I'm the type, after I had my second baby, I was like, I don't care who's staring. I don't care what people think. If I'm a great mom, if I'm a terrible mom, if the kids are crying, I just tune it out. My husband, 5 kids later, is still like conservative, looking down. He doesn't want people, like, he doesn't want attention drawn to us. And everywhere we go, there's some type of good or bad attention drawn to us. And so he's just like, in church, I'm like, every week he's going to suffer a mild stroke.
Yeah. So that was actually me. I was like, that was me for a while, I guess, until probably we had like, that was probably me until maybe we had the twins. I was like, oh my gosh, like I would feel like hot, like I would be sweaty. Like after church, I would be like sweating. And because the boys were so hard when they were little, you know, and they're stair step, you know, like they're, you know, well, right now they're 8, 7, 6, 5. So they were like stair step, and they were so bad in church. I mean, they were just, when they were little, they were so not bad. They were just kids, you know, um, and oh my gosh, like Carter, who is my 6-year-old right now, he has the attention span of like a flea, you know, and so, and people would be like, "Oh, Abby, sit on the front row. That helps, right?" So I'd be like, "Okay." So one Sunday we sat on the front row. Okay, well, you know, on the front row there's no kneelers, right? Like you don't have a kneeler in front of you. So they have these pads, you know, that you can sit, that you can kneel on.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I was like busy doing something with the twins who were babies at the time, and Carter was 3, and all of a sudden I'm like messing with the twins. I'm like, I don't know, I was like nursing one or doing, I don't know what I was doing. Anyway, I was not paying attention to my 3-year-old because I thought his butt was in the pew. And all of a sudden I look up and there's Carter with 2 of the pads, and he's right up on the stairs of the altar, and he's acting like a helicopter, and he's spinning around, and he's like, like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, and
of the altar, I will have his mother. Is the priest?
So then he's like jumping, and he's like, Mom! And he's like jumping on, you know, and everybody knows that we're like the family with all the kids, you know, in our church. So everybody was just like laughing, but stop, Carter, like stop acting like a helicopter in the middle. So anyway, so I was like, no, the front row is actually a bad idea for us because it gives them like unfettered access to the front of the church.
We're the back row type of people. That way, when our kids are reaching, my husband feels better about, okay, they're not like distracting people behind us. So we typically try to get the back row, but still it is, you're right.
I think it was after after we had the twins, I just realized like this is my life. Like, and I can't worry about.
You just got to go with it.
Yeah, like I can't worry about being loud or distracting people or whatever. Like this is just, and you know what? For like church, I feel like, gosh, oh, you know what really changed me though was going to these churches and realizing like how quiet churches are and realizing how sad that is. You know, I mean, like churches that aren't filled with like children, that's really sad.
It is.
And I just think our churches should be filled with children. It should be noisy, right? Yes. Like, churches should be noisy with little chatter of children and, you know, just them asking questions or whatever. And, it makes me sad. It's like, you know, there's always like pastors and priests that say like a church is not crying as a church is dying, you know?
Right.
So many churches, especially up north, are like closing, you know, like Catholic churches are closing because their parishioners are dying. And so I just thought, you know what, people, like if you're distracted by me, then go sit somewhere else, because when you see us coming, first of all, you know, we're going to take up a whole pew. So like when you see us file into that whole pew, if you're going to be distracted by us, then you can leave, because it's a lot easier for you, party of 2, to find another place to sit than it is for us, our whole family, to find another place to sit. So just know that we're going to be loud, that my kids are going to be asking questions, that they might make fart noises throughout the entire mass. Somebody, it may smell like a poopy diaper. In the middle of the class. Like, I might change it actually in the pew. So just know, like, that's just the way it is, you know, and deal with it.
I want to, before I talk about the background, as someone was commenting on that, the diaper changes. It's amazing how good a mom gets after maybe even your first baby, second baby. You can change a diaper anywhere. Let me tell you, baby KJ, because again, our boys, our baby boys around the same age.
Yeah.
And I can change him in the front seat in a parking lot. I can change
Okay.
him while squatting in a stall. I can change him standing up. I can change him in the dark with my eyes closed, with one arm tied behind my back.
Yeah.
And still do it.
100%.
We become
I've changed
amazing.
babies standing up in an airplane bathroom, like
yeah. Oh yeah. You just
wherever, anywhere. Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's funny. And I know a lot of people are going through this right now. So I see a comment, someone says, and how does Reagan have private time in the car? So if anyone can see in the back here, lots of luggages. So right now we see it's like an awesome time for a lot of people to move, you know, with interest rates and so forth. I see a ton of people everywhere moving. My entire life, so I'm 37, I've probably moved over 3 dozen times. Moved a lot as a child. And I can say the Lord has made this last move so painful. I will never, ever move again. So with 5 kids and 3 pets, our last home sold so quickly that we have been in between, and it has been, I told my oldest daughter last night, I said, I would have rather gone through natural childbirth 5 times over again during this process than move. It has been a lot. So we're at the final stretch. I didn't even tell you this yet, Abby, because I didn't want to jinx it, but I'm going to manifest it out into the world. I'm thanking God in advance. We're supposed to close this afternoon.
Oh, good.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Lord. But so I'm just putting good vibes out there. But it has been, I don't know the last time you and Doug have moved or how long it's been, but this has been one of the most, moving during a pandemic, moving over Christmas, moving before you have another house secure. Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
It's been a lot. Like my hair doesn't even come in gray anymore. It's just bright white. It comes in bright white. Oh my God.
Yeah, we haven't moved we've been in this house for like five years, I think.
Yeah.
And we've done a lot to this house to make it our own. So we don't ever really talk about moving again.
Right.
But it's such a pain.
Oh yeah.
We've moved so many times in our marriage, and we finally got a house that we love and whatever. And so I don't ever think we want to move again. But we talk about like, oh, it'd be nice to like. That's the thing though. We talk about it'd be nice to like have some land or whatever, but I don't actually think I want to live out in the country. Like, it'd be nice to have like a few acres, like 5 acres that we could like have to go like do stuff on, or put our camper on or whatever. But like, I don't actually want to live out there because I actually really like where we live. I like living in town. I like being close to things. We have the most fantastic neighbors. Except one that's across the road. They're the worst. But anyway, the rest of them are fantastic. And they a ton of kids in our neighborhood. So I would really miss, like, there's always kids in and out of our house. There's just, and a bunch of boys, which is great. So we have a bunch of boys. So like, I feel like my kids would feel really, really isolated, if they were out like by themselves. And so, they've grown accustomed to having a bunch of neighbor friends and stuff like that. And so riding bikes, it feels very like Mayberry, like where we are, and I love that, you know? And so we do like potlucks with our neighbors, and it's just
That's
very
awesome.
cool, you know, it's a very cool feeling where we are. And so I feel like I'd feel very isolated, but I would like to have like just some land like to go play on, you
Right.
know, or something like that.
Yeah,
But I don't want to move again. I don't want to move all my crap again. We've accumulated so much just stuff. I don't want to move.
right. I mean, when you have children, it's amazing. At each move, we purge, we get rid of junk
Yeah.
stuff, we donate things we no longer can use, and it's still like it. My husband is just he just is like, how do we have this much? Like we have 4 storage units of things, 2 26-foot trucks right now loading up, and it's like, where does it come from? It just accumulates, you know.
No. And we've done that too. Every time we've moved, we're like, do we really need this? Get rid of it. Do we really need that? Get rid of it. Like, do we really need this family antique thing? No, get rid of it. Like,
Right.
oh my God. Like, just, well, there's all this stuff. Like, just get rid of it. You know? Oh my gosh. Okay, look. I don't know if anybody else can see this in my lighting. Look at this weird.
Wait, hold on. Wait, let me get the right angle. We're
Do we
twins.
have matching incoming growth here?
So,
okay.
So this is like postpartum hair coming.
Yes, that's what I have.
God, we're twins. Wait, let me. Yep, have those wispies.
I hate them. They're constantly sticking out. Yeah, I have them on both sides, but this one sticks out more. It's like after I had Fulton, it's like I had these like patches right here, and now they're like shooting in like horns.
I did too. My girls have asked, "Mommy, can we just cut those?" I'm like,
no, they're growing.
Not a good idea.
Leave them alone. They're growing.
Oh my gosh. So I do you and Doug watch football?
We do. We're Texans. Well, Doug is a Texans guy, and I'm a Saints gal.
Well, I don't know. I just caught a photo of my pants to the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're always the underdog. And I'll tell you what, and my husband, he's like, his one bucket list before he dies, he's like, I just want to see them get to the Super Bowl. Well, we've never won a Super Bowl, made it, lost 4 of them, but we're feeling good. And it's like this year, it seems like a lot of people are rallying around the Bills. Are you guys still in the are you still in the playoffs, or are you guys out?
I have no idea.
Abby's like, hey.
I have no idea. Reagan, I have 8 kids. Okay. I have no idea.
I know. Half the time I'm like, okay, are all the kids fed? Where are we going? What's happening? Does anyone
I have no idea. I have not followed football. And honestly, I'm a little like just perturbed at the NFL right now. So I just have not been following football this season at all. So I've been sort of out of the loop.
Right. I always make the thing, and again, just since you threw that.
But I know you're a big Bills fan, so I have to tell you, Reagan, I can be on Team Bills for you. Okay. I can rally around the Bills for you.
The Bills, that's good to know. The Bills are a good team. I always say when I hear of these, and everyone, these cities are trying to make big new stadiums, and they need this, and it's only going to be like $30 million, and they need that. I'm just like, all the things that we could be donating that money for, or turning it into, you know what I mean? Without playing that card. I always do play that card. I never publicly play it. I always say it to my husband because he's just like diehard sports, diehard Bills. And when I hear of like new stadiums going up, I'm like, why can't we turn that into a spot for the homeless? Why can't we take that money and use it to feed hungry children, But anyways.
Well, let me tell you what is even sicker. Okay. So there was an election recently. A guy that ran against, I'm pretty sure it was the guy that ran against Lindsey Graham.
Okay.
And he spent it was a record-breaking amount of money on his campaign. was $102 million. Okay. And he lost. I was like, okay. It made me like literally sick to my stomach when I thought about the amount of money that goes into elections, and particularly failed elections. But I thought, but all elections in general. But I thought, how $102 million? I'm like, Reagan, I run 2 nonprofits. You know how much? Do you know what I could do with $102 million? I mean, you know how many moms and babies I could serve with $102 million? And it's going into an election, and the dude didn't even win.
He lost. Like, that's, yeah.
I mean, it makes me sick. And that's just one election. There were over 1,000 elections this past election cycle. That was just one.
I
And
know.
it makes me sick to think this is what people are like dumping money into.
I know.
And yet, like, we struggle, like our ministry, Pro Love Ministries, struggles to make $200,000 a year to serve moms and babies. And I'm
Right.
thinking, what is going on here? Like, we have our priorities like so out of whack, you know,
Right.
where politics has become our God, really. And I'm not saying politics isn't important. It is. I mean, that's what I do for part of my job.
Right.
But it's become something unhealthy. It's become something really unholy in our nation and in our society. I mean, you can tell that just by the sheer amount of money that is being spent on
Right.
these campaigns.
It is. It's just never, I've never considered myself a quote unquote political person ever. And there was just this last year, these last 18 months were so different. And I come from a divided household. So, you know, some outlets reached out to interview Terry and I, and it's hard being a divided household.
Yeah.
It's hard, but yeah, it's definitely a crazy time. There's so much division, there's so much hatred, and it's really, you know, kids are so involved on social media, kids are listening at home, kids are talking at school. It's crazy when my kiddos, so we had a couple kids in school, a couple kids who do private online school, and you know, even our younger kiddos coming home from school are saying, well, this kiddo said their parents voted for him, and this kid, you know, young kids are really even talking about it because they hear everything at home, and it's just, it's like it's taken over, and I just, it's scary and unsettling at times, you know. So I just, every night as a family, we pray for peace.
Yeah, you know, it's weird because I mean, of course, I'm very politically active, and
Yeah,
you know, we were
absolutely.
big Trump supporters and stuff in our family. But what's weird is that, okay, so my 6-year-old, who's in kindergarten,
Mm-hmm.
the other day something came up about I don't know, the word Biden was said, okay,
Okay.
and Carter said he cheated. Okay, I have never said like that. We do not talk about that in front of them, like whatever. And I've never used the word cheated, right? Like I've never said like Biden cheated. Like that's not like a word that I used, right?
Right.
But that tells me that like kindergartners are talking about this.
It is. My 6-year-old has come home and talked about it. Yes, our daughter. Yep, same age.
And that's crazy to me. Like, and my oh my gosh, I have a really funny story. Okay, so my 7-year-old who's in first grade, Luke, oh my gosh, he loves Trump. I don't know where he got this affinity for Trump, but he loves Trump. And so, and of course I fed it a little bit. Like I bought him like a Trump pin. And
Just a little, right?
His head on it and stuff like that. Anyway, so, okay. So anyway, he loves Trump. So one of the little boys though, down the street, his parents are big Biden supporters. So, which we love them. Okay. So anyway, kind of, no, I'm just kidding. We do love them. Okay. So anyway, so this little boy came. They play all over here all the time. So this little boy came over, and so right after the election, we were all outside, and all of a sudden, I hear Luke like exclaim, right, in this loud, just voice. He says, "How dare you!" And I'm like, what was that about? Okay, so he like looks at me and he goes, "Mom, they voted for Biden."
We've heard the same things happen.
And I was like, that's okay. And he was like, "Mom, Biden." It's okay, honey. Some people vote for Biden. That's the way it is in an election. He was like, "Mom, you don't understand. Biden." But like he was so like invested like in this like election, and it was crazy. But like then he told me later, I guess at school they like took a vote.
Mm-hmm.
Because he said, there were 5 people in my class who voted for Biden.
Right.
So, and I'm just like, you're in first grade, but they know so much about this, and I feel like,
right,
when I was in first grade, I don't think I knew anything about any of this.
No, literally, sadly. I mean, and this is, throwing myself under the bus. I feel like I was so ignorant about things. I didn't become aware until like my early 20s, maybe, really taking an interest. And it should have been sooner than that. But yeah, our little ones, they know what's happening. And I think so many more kids are on social media now. So whether it's Facebook or Instagram or YouTube or TikTok or whatever, there's all these platforms now. It's everywhere. And so social media, we're now seeing, I mean, it is a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
And anything, like if my Kelsey Bear, who is 6, if she sees something on TikTok, even though we take it away from her, or YouTube, whether I think it's correct or whether it is a fact or not, oh, mommy, but it's on there. It's on YouTube. TikTok just said it. Like that's where we're at right now. And it's such a dangerous place to be with social media.
And we had to, Grace is 14. She's turned 14 in November. And over the summer, there was some talk, among her friends about what was happening with the Black Lives Matter movement. And, and the kids just didn't know what to think about it because it's confusing, right? Because Black Lives Matter. Okay, well, of course Black Lives Matter. What does that mean, right? So why are they burning down these cities? Why are they, hurting cops? Why are they, so it didn't make sense to them, to their 13-year-old heads, And so, Grace is like, I don't understand. Like, why are people mad that other people are saying Black Lives Matter, And I was like, no, Grace, this is a movement. This is about Marxism. She's like, what's Marxism? And so then we have to go into this conversation about what is Marxism, and so I'm having to have really adult conversations with my 13-year-old daughter like when I was 13, I was still like secretly playing with Barbies, right? But my 13-year-old daughter is very aware of what abortion is. She's very aware about the attacks on traditional marriage. She's very politically adept because we have to be with our children when they're entering those ages, because this is not the same country that we lived in when we were 13 years old, you know? I mean, we have to be talking to our children. I mean, when I worked at Planned Parenthood, we did abortions on girls that were 10 and 11 years old. I mean, this is a different time. You know, Doug used to be a public school teacher, and all the time he walked in on kids having sex in closets and empty classrooms. And it's different times now that we're living in. And so we have to prepare our children, because our children are one day going to be voters. And do we want our children to be low information voters and just voting for the people whose sign they saw more on the road, right? Or who had the better graphics, or, you know, whatever? Or do we want them to vote on actual policy that they believe in?
Right.
And vote their convictions. And so that starts at a very early age. And it starts with us, you know, having these conversations with our children at a young age, at an early age. And, you know, unfortunately, it's starting earlier and earlier. I mean, if my 6-year-old is hearing things like Biden cheated at school, and they go to a very conservative Catholic school, but they're hearing it from other kids, you know, we're having to have these conversations earlier and earlier with our children. And I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but I just know that we as parents are responsible for forming our children. And if we aren't doing it, then social media will do it. Then parents of other children will do it. Then the culture will do it. And I sure as heck don't want anybody else forming my children except for me.
Amen, sister. It's so true. These conversations, that, you know, we're doing the same thing with our kids. They're uncomfortable, they're painful. And especially because we have some different political / moral views, you know, that's really hard because, you know, marriage and parenting is about coming together, being as one stand, you know what I mean? You're united together. And so a lot of these things you can't meet in the middle of. And that's where our marriage and parenting and family has been tested. We've had to pray through and work through. And I know we're not the only family out there, but it is rather unique when you have that. So it's trying to catch your kids first, to be able to give them the truth and help mold them, how your families, what your values are, what your morals are, because it's happening so much quicker. Yeah. So those of you out there with 5 and 6-year-olds, especially who play in your neighborhood, even if they're doing virtual school, public school, you know, they're talking.
They are talking. And we need to know what those conversations are. Yeah. And if there are kids going, you know, like our kids run into each other's houses and stuff like that, we need to know like what the rules are in their homes. What are they watching on each other's TVs? You know, you need to be talking to your kids, you know, and just, oh, when you go into so-and-so's house, what do y'all watch? Y'all watch YouTube? What do you watch on YouTube? You know, what are the shows you guys watch? You know, it doesn't have to be like the Spanish Inquisition or anything, but like just have like conversations with your kids. Talk to your kids.
Right.
You know, you might be surprised, you know, about the things that you hear from them.
Absolutely. And those are some of, you know, these are a lot of the topics that Abby and I want to tackle with all of you. And, you know, as Abby and I have talked over the last few months, and we wanted to kind of take both of our worlds and both of our platforms and merge them together to really reach like a huge audience. of, tens of millions of people that visit both of our platforms every month. We really we're going to start digging in, taking some statements, taking some questions from you guys. So every week, every Tuesday, we're going to be coming on live at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We want to really start with what you guys are thinking and what you're feeling and going through, and addressing some hard hitting topics. And then we're going to be bringing some guests on too. But yeah, we have so much we want to do. And I just, as we kind of wrap this up this morning, I just want to say, Abby, it's chilling to the bone that this partnership happened. I shouldn't be surprised. Over the last year, I prayed so much, is the real deal of parenting took off, and it kept growing and growing. I kind of kept feeling more pressure, and I'm like, I know I'm not supposed to do this alone. Like, I know I'm not. And where your morals are at and what you're doing and speaking for those without a voice, and speaking for the unborn, I had prayed, God, let me be, let me do more in that area. Abby over the last year was thinking she wanted to do more, also talking just about, she's a mom of 8. Her and Doug have so much to share in the parenting world. So that was kind of pulling on her heartstrings. And like, when we connected, it was like kapow. Like, this is so instrumental. This partnership was meant to be. And so as Abby and I's worlds have collided, I could not be more excited for what's to come. So we have a lot of good stuff we're going to hit. Abby and I think, are two people who, aren't afraid to kind of get loud and say some uncomfortable things. And we put it out there, what people are thinking. And so, we are going to try to hold up the epitome of the real deal of parenting for everybody.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun. So make sure you're following us. We have a team of people. We're always trying to get into our inbox. We're getting a lot of, new questions. Is it started to leak out recently over the last week about Abby being the new partner over here. So people are going crazy. So lots of good stuff to come, but we're excited. So make sure you keep in touch. Make sure every Tuesday morning at this time, you tune in. We're going to hit a lot of lighthearted stuff, but some hitting things too. But just really what parents are going through, what they're thinking, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between.
Yeah.
Like this.
It'll be awesome.
Like this.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in our home next time.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yay.
So, amen.
Well, wonderful. So, Abby, I just want to officially say publicly, welcome. You are one of the fiercest, strongest, loudest in a good way, people who I just stand beside 100%. You're so convicted. Your heart is in Abby. Truly, this world doesn't, and I'm going to bring it to light, what she and her husband do behind the scenes that most people don't realize. The world needs more of you. So I just got chills. I'm just forever grateful that you are now a partner of this page, and I'm excited for what the future holds. So
we're going to do awesome things. It's going to be really awesome, really exciting.
Big things. Woohoo!
Yeah.
All right, sister. Well, so we will catch everybody next Tuesday morning.
Okay. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye.